She disappeared on her wedding night without a trace. 10 years later, she knocked on the same door, pale, barefoot, and carrying a secret that should have stayed buried forever. If you think you've heard every kind of mystery, think again. Tonight, we're unraveling a story where love turns into terror, identity fractures like glass, and the truth is darker than fiction. A bride, a grave, and a secret that no one was supposed to know. This isn't just a story. It's a warning. Stay with me. It was supposed to be the happiest night of their lives. A soft rain had started to fall just as the reception ended, and some said it was a good omen. Rain on your wedding day brings luck, they whispered. But for Daniel Harper, that night would mark the beginning of a decade-long nightmare. The wedding had been picture-perfect. Amanda stood at the altar, radiant, her smile as bright as the chandelier above them. Daniel, calm, gentle, utterly smitten, couldn't stop glancing at her. Their friends cheered, parents cried, and even the most cynical of guests couldn't help but believe in love again, just for a night. But as the clock struck midnight, Amanda disappeared. No one saw her leave. Her phone, purse, even her shoes left behind in the bridal suite. The last person who claimed to see her said she looked pale, her hands trembling as she clutched the frame of the door before slipping out quietly. At first, people assumed she needed air or had gone to the restroom or was overwhelmed by emotion. But minutes turned to hours. And then it hit them, Amanda was gone. Daniel searched the venue, screaming her name in every corner of the building. Her parents, in panic, called the police. What followed was a chaotic blur of searchlights, helicopters, dogs sniffing along the wet trail behind the venue. They searched the river. They combed the woods. Not a single trace. Nothing. No signs of struggle. No ransom note. No body. Amanda Harper had vanished into thin air. On her wedding night, the police looked at Daniel first. They always do. But there was no motive. No history of violence. His alibi? Surrounded by hundreds of guests toasting champagne when she disappeared. Security footage? Corrupted. The cameras at the back hallway where Amanda may have exited flickered and glitched out at the exact time she went missing. Coincidence, they said. Or maybe not. The press had a field day. Runaway bride or abduction? Vanished in veil. Wedding night mystery baffles small town. Daniel didn't sleep for months. He quit his job. Grew a beard. Became a ghost haunting his own home. Her face was everywhere, in posters, on TV, in his dreams. He clung to her voicemail like it was oxygen. Every year, he lit a candle on their wedding anniversary. Every year, the flame flickered lower. 10 years passed. And then, on a gray morning in March, Daniel received a knock on his door. There she was. Amanda. Standing there like a mirage. Hair longer. Eyes tired. But unmistakably her. She looked at him and whispered, "Don't ask where I've been. Just know I didn't leave you." And then she collapsed. Daniel didn't speak for a full minute. He just stared at her, the woman who had haunted his dreams and shattered his life, now crumpled on his doorstep, whispering words that didn't make sense. "I didn't leave you." Paramedics arrived. She was weak, dehydrated, and, according to the hospital, malnourished, with traces of old injuries, a healed fracture in her left wrist, a faint scar on her temple. Her fingerprints matched. Her DNA matched. It was Amanda. No doubt. But she wasn't the Amanda he remembered. She flinched when nurses touched her. She asked for the lights to be dimmed. She ate slowly, as if every bite was a foreign language. Daniel watched her, heartbreaking again and again. Her body was here, but something had happened, something that had stolen the spark from her eyes. Amanda wouldn't talk about the past. When questioned by the police, she said only, "I can't remember." When asked where she had been, she whispered, "Someplace cold." The authorities had no leads. No proof of abduction. No trace of traffickers. No surveillance. 10 years of silence, and suddenly this? The media returned in waves. Reporters camped outside Daniel's house. One even dressed as a nurse to sneak into Amanda's room. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Amanda was a government informant. Amanda was abducted by a cult. Amanda faked her disappearance. But Daniel just wanted her back. He brought her home. At night, she would walk the hallways barefoot, murmuring names he didn't recognize. Elena, Dr. Hall, Room 7. Once he found her trying to remove the mirror in the bathroom, convinced there was something or someone behind it. Sometimes she would wake up screaming, scratching at her own arms, crying, "They're watching me." Daniel kept telling himself this was trauma, that she just needed time. But it got stranger. One night, he found her standing in the backyard, barefoot again, looking up at the sky. She was humming a melody he'd never heard. When he called her name, she didn't answer, just kept humming, louder now, until her voice cracked. Another time, he caught her burning something in the fireplace. He pulled it out. It was a notebook. Inside, dozens of pages filled with symbols. Not words. Symbols. Some looked ancient, others like mathematical equations, some pure chaos. He asked what it meant. She stared at him and said, "They made me forget how to speak. I had to invent a new way." Daniel was losing grip. He contacted a therapist. Amanda refused to go. "They'll find me again if I talk," she said. "They don't like when you remember." And yet, there were moments. Fleeting, fragile moments where the old Amanda returned. She smiled when he made her tea. She laughed at his old jokes. She let him hold her hand just for a second. It was enough to keep him holding on. Then she asked him a question that froze him cold. "Do you still want children?" Daniel didn't know what to say. Because Amanda had been gone 10 years. And now she was back, broken, haunted, and hiding something. And yet she asked him like it was still their wedding night. Then she said, "I need to tell you something. But not yet. You won't believe me until you see it." And just like that, the brief moment of warmth vanished. She closed her eyes, turned away, and whispered one word that chilled him to his core. Buried. Daniel didn't sleep that night. He lay next to her, eyes wide open, heart pounding, trying to make sense of that one word. Buried. What did she mean? A memory? A body? A truth she couldn't say out loud? The next morning, Amanda was gone again. But this time, she hadn't vanished. She left a note. Behind the orchard, where the light never reaches. Daniel's parents used to own a small apple orchard. After they passed, he never went back there. It was too painful. The trees had grown wild, gnarled branches clawing at the sky like something alive. He remembered Amanda loved that place. They used to picnic there, in a little clearing that caught the morning sun. But what was she doing there now? He drove fast. When he arrived, the air felt thick, wrong somehow. The birds weren't singing. The wind didn't move. And the light, it really didn't reach that far corner she described. Under the oldest tree, half dead and leaning sideways like it had a secret, the ground was disturbed. Fresh earth, recently dug, covered quickly. Daniel's hands shook as he grabbed a shovel from the shed. Every scoop of dirt made his breath shallower. Deeper, deeper. A foot down, then 2, and then something solid. Wood. An old crate. His fingers trembled as he pried it open. Inside were bones. Small, fragile, human. Beside them, a withered teddy bear, rotted from moisture. And a photograph. Water-stained, almost destroyed, but visible. A woman. Not Amanda, but someone who looked exactly like her. Not similar. Identical. Daniel's mind spiraled. Twins? A sister she never told him about? An ancestor? He stumbled back, breath ragged, when he heard twigs snap behind him. Amanda. She stood there, barefoot again, her white dress clinging to her in the damp orchard air. Her eyes locked onto the box. No tears, no fear, just relief. "You weren't supposed to find it yet," she said softly. "But now that you have, I can tell you everything." Daniel demanded answers. Who was the woman? What were those bones? Why did Amanda vanish? She sank to the ground, running her fingers over the photo. "She was me," Amanda said. "And I was her. We were born the same, raised apart. They told me I had a sister. But it wasn't a sister. It was another version of me. A mirror." Daniel couldn't breathe. Amanda continued, voice shaking. We weren't born like normal children. We were part of something else. Something they shouldn't have tried to create. She looked up at him. Her pupils dilated. Her hands trembling. They wanted to make a perfect version. The wife who never questioned. The daughter who obeyed. The one who smiled even when she screamed inside. Daniel took a step back. Amanda, what are you saying? I was taken before the wedding, she said. Switched. You married her. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. The woman he married. The one he kissed at the altar. Spent hours dancing with, dreaming with, hadn't been Amanda? Amanda's lips quivered. They made her look like me. Act like me. But she wasn't me. Daniel stared at her. His whole world cracked open. I watched everything from behind the glass. Amanda whispered. I screamed. I begged. But she was living my life. Until she broke. Until she couldn't keep up the lie. She pointed to the crate. They buried her here. Because she failed. Daniel stared at Amanda like she was a stranger. He wanted to run. He wanted to hold her. He wanted to scream. The woman in front of him had lived in the shadows for 10 years, watching him, watching the version of herself that took her place, waiting, and now she was finally telling him that everything had been a lie. And the woman he buried on their anniversary? The one whose photo he lit candles for? She wasn't even real? Amanda stood and walked toward the grave, looking down at the box of bones as if mourning an extension of herself. She wasn't evil, she said quietly. She didn't ask to be created. She was built, trained, programmed. She didn't know how to love. She only knew how to be loved. Daniel fell to his knees. Tears spilled from his eyes, not just grief, but confusion, betrayal, heartbreak. His life, the last 10 years, had been a simulation. A life shared with a phantom. I thought she was you, he whispered. She thought so too, by the end, Amanda replied. That's why she broke. He looked at her. Why come back now? Amanda looked away. Her voice dropped. Because they're coming for me again. Daniel's blood froze. Amanda stepped closer. The project didn't stop after me. There are others. Many more. They live among people, blend in, learn from us. Some succeed. Some vanish. And when one fails, they erase everything. No records. No memories. She handed Daniel a small drive. Everything I remembered, everything I wrote down, it's all in here. Hidden under layers of code. Maybe someone can expose them one day. But not me. Daniel stared at the device in his palm. He looked up, but Amanda was already backing away toward the orchard's edge into the mist. I can't stay, she said. They're watching again. They know I told you. Daniel ran after her, desperate, calling her name, but she was gone before he reached the trees. Just like before. Except this time she left something behind. The next day, the police found Amanda's fingerprints again on the front gate, the shovel, the photograph. But the bones in the box? They were confirmed to be Amanda Harper. The DNA matched. Exactly. The authorities were baffled. No one could explain it. No missing twin. No record of cloning. No evidence of a facility or organization. The USB Amanda left behind? Blank. Just corrupted static. Daniel never saw her again. But every year, on the anniversary of the night she vanished, he still places a candle in the orchard. And sometimes when the wind is still and the sky is dark enough, he swears he hears her humming that strange, broken melody. She vanished on her wedding night. She returned 10 years later. But the woman who came back might not have been human at all. What would you do if someone you loved turned out to be manufactured? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If this story chilled you to the bone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who thinks love is always safe. Because sometimes the truth walks in wearing a white dress.